Alright, we are back with another Dokkan battle video today, and we have a prediction video today with the newest hint for the next LR of the part 2 of the Android/Cell Saga campaign is what I'm assuming it is. Kind of an Androids campaign. It is more of an Androids campaign actually, with the Super 17 being, or not Super 17, but Dragon Ball Super 17 being the banner unit. So I really don't know where this is going. Like I said, it could be Android/Cell Saga, could be androids, but this hint is kind of a little vague and hinting to a lot of things. So I have two predictions that I think are very strong, actually, and then one that I think is less strong, but still a very big possibility, and they're all very hype. I will just get that out of the way now. They're all great picks. If any of these happen, I'll be happy. There is one specific one that I want to happen more than any other, but when we get to that, I'm sure you'll realize why. But this is the teaser we were looking at. It is a 12/15. I'm assuming it's just the date, and it doesn't actually pertain to the unit at all because the Japanese version of Dokkan, let me see if I can pull the spoilers for not one of my predictions. We'll give credit to DKD there, but one of the, let me just go to my notifications. The Japanese Dokkan Twitter account posted 12/16, which is just showing the, time zone differences between JP and I guess the rest of the world in terms of when units release. So I do think that the 12/15 is not related to the unit itself. It still could be. I saw someone post that I guess on December 15th was the first World Tournament episode in Dragon Ball, I guess, was released. So it could still be something like that, you don't know, but I do think that it's not pertaining to it at all, and I think the main hint here is the yellow stripe across the image. But yeah, we're just gonna do a little prediction video here and keep it a little short and sweet because I do have to pack and go home today. But yeah, let's just start looking at some of the predictions that we've got. All right, first I'll go with it because I have already kind of spoiled what it is. But the DKD on Twitter, I don't know if he's the first one to predict this or say this for this prediction, but it is the one that I saw that I think is actually the most convincing, to me at least. I think a Daima Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, just looking at the colors, and obviously it's an exact angle of his final flash against Goma. So I do think this is a very strong possibility. Obviously Daima is in like drought. There is no Daima releases. We haven't gotten any of the adult versions of Daima characters yet. We did just get the Kid Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Goma, and then obviously we had the first Kid Super Saiyan Goku and the Kid Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, but we don't have any adult versions yet. And I personally was kind of predicting that to be New Year's. I expected a double LR banner, maybe a Dokkan Fest Adult Super Saiyan 4 and a Carnival LR Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. But I think this is going to be a Carnival LR. It might be double rates. I'm not exactly sure what kind of banner it will be, but it could still fit with being a Carnival LR Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. And I think that is a very strong possibility just based on the colors and the angle here. I think it's, as you can see, they parallel so well with like everything here. And I think the colors are very telling because there's not much to the hint other than the colors and the line across the screen. So I think this is maybe the strongest idea for me, at least. This is the one that convinces me the most. So I think an adult SSJ3 Vegeta is definitely a very, very, very big possibility right now, and I think we could be prepared for that. And I would be very excited for that. I would love to have that in the game. Anything Daima would make me so happy. All right, after that one, I do think this is our next strongest idea. I think this and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta are on the exact same wavelength in terms of possible. And this one fits more with the theme of the celebration as well. I do think we could get a redo of this Trunks slicing Mecha Frieza, or just this whole moment in general, because we don't have a really accurate version of the Super Saiyan transformation when Trunks first goes Super Saiyan against Mecha Frieza. We have the AGL one that just got his absolutely abysmal Easy A, but they did that with a Broly celebration last year where they released a bad Easy A. I forget which Broly it was, but they ended up replacing him immediately with the Int one, so then you didn't really have an issue anymore because you didn't want to run the other one, so you just ran the Int one anyway. So I do think having the bad Trunks Easy A, I don't think they're worried about it if they're just going to release another Trunks right after it to go in line with his EZA. Let me just move some of these tabs real quick. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I back to this. I do think this is the second strongest possibility. I believe it's honestly tied with Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, just because he fits the theme of the celebration so far, with it being hybrid Saiyans and Android/Cell Saga is what they've kind of been pushing with the Broly missions and stuff. So I do think this guy is on equal footing with Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, and obviously this is my personal pick. If we get a Carnival LR Trunks from this moment, this is quite literally my dream unit. The physical LR that has this art is probably one of my favorite arts in the game. That unit was, like, he's so cool to me. I mean, Trunks is my favorite character. I'm pretty sure if you've followed my channel for a little bit now, you know I love Trunks. So I would be very excited for this. I would go all in for him. I do not care. I'd waste all of my stones before New Year's. I would love to have this be a possibility, and I think he would be great help for those Broly missions, as I mentioned before, with the Hybrid Saiyans and Android/Cell Saga, because those missions are very tough, as I have been trying to beat them the last couple days, so that trying to beat them just good enough so that I can record it, but I'm getting whooped by Broly, because I would like to try and do it no items, but it's so hard right now. So I do think that this guy could come out and help with those missions directly. I think that could be something they would do just to try and get people to summon. Kind of noticing here on Frieza's arm, he's kind of like discolored. He's not colored incorrectly. His whole arm is white. That section there, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but that section on his arm should be colored in. That's weird. I got distracted by that. But like I said, I do think this is just on equal footing with Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta purely because of the slice. That is the one thing. It is the slice, and I guess the colors do fit, with yellow being Super Saiyan and red being the supernova that gets thrown at him when he picks the Super Saiyan, or the supernova up after he goes Super Saiyan. So the colors do still somewhat fit the Trunks idea that we could have. But like I said, this is on equal footing with Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. I think he could be very possible, and I would be very excited to have him in the game, and I would love to have that. But I do think that this is my personal pick for what I want from this Part 2 LR, but I think he is a very possible idea and would be very good and very helpful for the game right now. Alright, last prediction we do have is a little more far-fetched, a little out there, but I do think it's possible. I would not count it out. It is Dokkan. They love their Hybrid Saiyans, and guess what? They love their Gohan. So our last prediction is some form of Gohan, whether it's Super Saiyan 2 or Beast. I think Super Saiyan 2 is pretty much out of questioning. I'm not going to entirely throw him out, but I do think he's somewhat in the conversation, but I think he's definitely at the bottom of the list in terms of who I think is coming, because we got the, obviously, anniversary version of him earlier this year, but, you know, we did have the Legends version just come out with their Legends Festival, I believe, so these games tend to kind of have similar planning, not the same, but, like, pretty similar, so I do think it's not impossible, but I'm not going to bet on it. I am going to say that Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is not going to be the Part 2 LR, but if it happens, it happens. I wouldn't be surprised. But Beast Gohan is one that I do think is the third highest possibility on this list, purely because of, as you can see in the background there, that line is obviously same thing with the Trunks. It's just that line. That's really all we're going off of right now. The red, I guess, fits Cell Max, because the line isn't red. That's usually the Gohan thing, is the line's red. So I am less on this. But Beast Gohan could be possible, you know, it's a stone bait before New Year's. Beast Gohan would be the greatest stone bait possible. I think maybe a transforming Beast Gohan, because we've gotten the standalone and then the crappy version that doesn't transform. I won't say crappy, I don't hate him too much. On release I did, but not anymore. I do think that a transforming Beast Gohan could be possible as a good stone bait. Obviously the only thing hinting at it would be the line, but the other thing that I would say is a strong pusher for this is we are coming up on the superhero EZAs, the LR Tech Piccolo and the LR Physical Gohan, as I just mentioned, and both the Gammas as well. I kind of expected the Gammas to EZA this celebration, so all of these units still need to EZA, and they will all be very strong EZAs, and I think they will eventually come out with an Orange Piccolo or a Beast Gohan of some kind. And, you know, maybe it could be hinting at Orange Piccolo for all I know, like Orange and Red, Orange and Cell, like Orange Piccolo versus Cell Max could still fit that theme. And with the line breaking, obviously Piccolo getting beat up is what causes Gohan to go Beast. So I think these are all possibilities. I do think that maybe Orange Piccolo or Beast Gohan are on the lower end, obviously still above Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. But I think the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Trunks are kind of fighting for top spot in my brain right now. And then we have these ones. The only real big pusher I have for Beast Gohan is that there are all of the EZAs lined up. But those could come out at any time with any celebration in the anniversary. Maybe we get a Beast or an Orange Piccolo in, I guess, Tianabata next year. Those could line up. They could hold them for a big celebration where we get a Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo, or an Orange Piccolo to kind of tie it more together. But those EZAs are lined up and ready. So I do think that we can't rule out Beast Gohan, same way we can't rule out Super Saiyan 2 Gohan down here. They will always put a Gohan in this game because he will sell. So I do think that you can't knock him out. You know, he will always be a possibility. But I will say he's probably on the lower end. I wouldn't bet on it. But, you know, if it happens, like I said, won't be surprised at all. All right, yeah, those are all of my personal predictions, or like my biggest ones that I say are possible. Obviously, I've seen some people in the comments saying that Cell, it could be Cell's beam, you know, hitting Trunks, and which would still fit Android/Cell Saga and the Android's theme so far. So it could be a Cell, but we did just get STR Cell, so it could be a super perfect Cell, not just a perfect Cell. I really don't know. I would probably put him on the same level as Gohan, I guess. Maybe just down at the bottom. But I don't know, really. This celebration has kind of been a little unpredictable, and this hint is very vague. So I'm not going to count anything out, but I personally think it could be a Trunks, is my guess. I think Trunks fits the mold of the celebration and the hint in general. I think Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta fits the hint more, but I don't think he fits the celebration or anything they've been pushing so far. So I personally do think it's a Trunks. Obviously, I'm a Trunks man. I'm gonna push her in no matter what. But I do think that he is going to be the one that's coming, and I do think it would be a very good addition to the game right now, and he would be very helpful for some of the harder missions that are going on right now, and it would, obviously, if he has the same name as the AGL one, it would just push him off of the teams and kind of ignore from the fact how bad he is. But if he's good, he could also help that Trunks be hidden in some of these events and make him just a little stronger if he's like a slot 1 Trunks or something. But yeah, I think something like that would be helpful and very good for the game. So I will say Trunks is my #1 pick. I would put him over SSJ3 Vegeta now that I've kind of spoken myself through it. But I do think that something of these three, whether it's a Gohan of some kind, a Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, a Trunks, maybe a Cell, but any of those would be good picks. I would be fine with all of them. I don't know if I would summon if it's some of the other ones, but I will definitely summon if it is a Trunks. But yeah, that is my predictions. Thank you so much for watching. If you stayed all the way to the end, I think I love you. And yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.